What's going on, everybody? It is Ian here with Miller Garage, and I am just finishing up cleaning out the shop. We had to move some trailers around because today we are starting a really awesome project. I am super excited about this one. So it is going to be a motorcycle hauler Airstream, and that is going to be just insanely cool. So the first thing that we got to do is build an entirely new frame. For one, his frame was in really pretty bad condition, and then also with it being a motorcycle hauler, we want something that's going to be stronger. We're going to do, rectangular tubing instead of the C-channel, and we also have to make like a ramp that'll come out in the back. So we got all that coming up. First thing we got to do is pop the shell off of it and get the original frame in here so we can cut that up and get the front A-frame off of it. That is the only thing we're going to be reusing. Everything else is going to be totally custom, all brand new, and it's going to turn out amazing.
This crossrail's a piece of shit. This outrigger's a piece of shit.
So we got the frame in here, and as you can see, this thing has definitely seen better days. You can see right over there, like, it is completely rusted through. In the frame rail, that is just totally gone. A lot of these outriggers are gone. Some of the cross members are pretty bad, so it was pretty much just already known that we were gonna have to scrap this and build a whole new frame. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cut out that center section and use it as a sled, and we may keep it because we have this other project that may require something like this. So we're gonna hold on to that, and that could become a useful tool in our shop. And the reason why we're gonna have to use this on this project is we're actually doing a little bit different suspension setup on this, and we'll get into that here shortly. But we're gonna need to be able to move the frame out and both paint it, and we also are waiting on a ramp to kind of finish it up, because I really want that for the sizing. Well, more so, depending on whether or not we're going to weld the actual ramp sliders into the frame or how that's going to attach. I'm not 100% sure. Don't have that design, fully done, but we'll figure that all out. That should be here pretty soon. A lot of things are delayed, which is, supply chain with all the COVID crap going on. So I'm going to start cutting this thing up. Then we're going to get everything starting to be torn down, and then probably tomorrow we'll get the new frame rails laid out and we'll start actually building this. Alright, so we got everything broken down. We got the original A-frame here that is ready to go. We cut everything off of it, and we got it all prepped. I got the frame rails laid out here, and I'm gonna start getting them squared up, getting the distances between them, and we're gonna just start getting this all laid out and ready to begin welding in a few of the initial cross members that'll hold the frame rails in place, and then we'll get it all squared, set, and all that good stuff. So we got the cross members welded in on the front part of the frame, and we have to do stuff a little bit differently as we're going and working on the back part of the frame. So since this is going to be the motorcycle hauler, we have to come up with some sort of solution to get the motorcycle up into it. So it's going to need a ramp. And we found basically like a 10-foot aluminum ramp that is used on like the U-Haul trucks and those kind of things. And we're actually going to integrate that into the frame, and so it's going to literally be permanently welded into the rear part of the frame. And what we're gonna do, instead of using just a normal cross member, is we're gonna use these 2-inch beams, and in the same places that the cross members are, we're gonna weld these in, and these are gonna be, you know, obviously connecting the frame and tying it all together, as well as where the subfloor sits, but then we're gonna have the ramp up underneath that. So the next thing we're gonna be doing is welding these all in place and getting it ready. In theory, the ramp should be here today, and so we're gonna get these in and then flip the whole frame over, and then from there we're gonna be putting the ramp in it. So I'm gonna get these going in, and yeah, I'm excited about this project. I'm doing this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Need to come further this way.
I don't want to go too far because I don't want to swing it too far that way. Yeah, because right now there's 0, then straight as an arrow. Yeah, because we're focusing on getting our positioning for our suspension, and then you know, be putting the ramp on there and all that. All the cross members are square and level and everything in there, so.
We're just a hair low on the side. It's even all the way up.
Yeah. So on this one, we're going to do a little bit different suspension than normal. Normally we would use like the Dexter torsion axles, but for this one we are using Timbren suspension, which is an axle-less suspension, which basically means there's nothing that goes in between the two sides to connect them. It's all built in on each side. So it's a pretty beefy unit. You can see this swing arm here is kind of the main part of it, and it will essentially sit on the frame, bolt to it, and then there's the hub and brake hub and everything that attaches to that. So what we need to do is actually put like a double plate over here to for one, beefing it up, but also it moves it out a little bit, because these, if you just put them on the frame rail, it's going to be too narrow inside of the wheel well. So we're going to bump it out a little bit and attach this. So we need to work on getting all of our measurements on the exact placement of where these are going to end up, and we're going to weld these pieces on and get the holes drilled and all that kind of stuff. So this stuff is pretty cool. It's a lot of work to install these. We actually retrofitted them on a frame, like an original frame, and it was way more work than it's worth, to be honest, so I don't necessarily recommend doing that. But if you're building a brand new frame, it can be a cool thing. So we have found that drilling large holes through frames is a pain in the butt with just a regular hand drill. So this is an electromagnetic drill, and in theory should be able to line it up with our holes and then turn on the magnet, and it stays. Adjust it just a little bit. I think this will be the trickiest part of it, is just getting it adjusted right. that wasn't what we were going for. Slow it down. That is just like moving really fast for a metal cutting drill.
Yeah.
Well, made a hole. It worked. So we finally got the ramp in for this. We've been waiting on it for I think like 8 weeks, as with everything, shipping delays and production delays. So we do finally have that. That's exciting. And what we're using for that is it is a 10-foot aluminum ramp, and we have the track part of it here positioned on the frame where it's going to go. And so this is actually flipped over, and so it's mounted on the underside, and then it's going to basically pull out the back. We'll show you kind of as we do it all of how we're going to make that work. It's going to be pretty sweet how the bumper will fold down and all that kind of stuff. But right now we are basically just going to be positioning it and tacking it in place, and then once we get everything where we want it, we'll do all the final welding. So this thing is moving along nicely. We're also going to be welding these side pieces for the suspension on. We got this one on. We're going to be attaching that one. So we had to drill all the holes, and those are all through for the suspension mounts, and then we'll be welding everything up. And this thing it's coming along nicely. I'm really happy with how the frame is looking, and I think it's going to be really awesome. No, I do. I'm saying it'll set on. It's not like it's gonna go flipping up or anything. Okay. So cool. So now we get to put the ramp in for the first time and see how it works. So.
A water slide.
It's not a water slide. That goes into motorcycle. Alright, so we got most of the frame all welded up. We have a few more things. We got the outriggers all tacked on, but we need to finish weld those, as well as this front A-frame part where it attaches to the tow vehicle. So this thing is just about ready to go out and get painted, which I'm excited to see it like all looking completely brand new. So I'm gonna finish up welding, and we're gonna then move it outside.